Welcome to Crumpets and Kerosene Reloaded, where we talk about the previous episode, and that would be episode 5. Again, joining us for this episode is our special guest.
Hi, I'm Alison, and to my virtual left is Seth.
Hey guys, it's Seth. I play Merle.
Hi, it's Lee Baldwin. I play Laura.
And Donnie J playing Eli Dresden.
Welcome back, Johnny! Okay.
Yeah!
Hello again.
And I'm Brent, and I play Jason.
Aw. So, going back to episode 5, welcome, Allison, joining us again for talking about our crazy D&D homebrew game. What exactly happened in this past episode? Brent, what do you got?
Fuck if I know.
Yeah, you're right. We should have just rolled a d20 and I would have.
Let's do that again, right?
So, the last episode, since I guess Brent wasn't paying attention, even though he was there.
I told you I didn't watch it.
You were in it. So basically,
I remember it. I remember us talking a lot and Donnie like losing a shoe and then gaining a shoe and then I don't know.
Oh no, he lost it all. So in the last episode, the gang basically, Seth, your character Merle lost his hand and they're triaging that moment, and
that was fun.
that again, everybody's just kind of like, oh, yep, I guess, there he goes, he's unconscious again. And so,
Yeah. And he woke up for a minute? The fuck?
yeah. And so what'd you think about that whole scenario of going out of unconsciousness, kind of in and out of the game and kind of back into the game, and what'd you think about that whole scenario of like losing your hand and then like realizing that it affected you outside of the game?
Well, Merle was certainly upset by that. He tried to say something to everybody when he came back consciousness, but everybody was like, "Yeah, whatever, dude, you're in shock." Like, it was definitely shitty.
I believe you said to me, "I think I know what you mean now."
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, yeah.
That was like 15 seconds, and everybody's like, "Okay, let's keep going." It's like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Frengen, you guys were in his shop all night long, basically, and him coming back in, and you guys still haven't even asked the poor guy's name.
I've barely met him.
Yep. Well, yeah, and then you still didn't have a bracer, and you finally eventually get one. But yeah, that's just hanging out in the nuts and bolts shop. You guys did pretty good. I mean, after that, you guys went a little bit crazy. So everybody kind of split up. Every DM's dream is to have everybody like branch off in different directions, do different things.
Never split the party. And split the party.
We're in town. It was safe.
And so, that's why we named the episode, customer service, because Eli basically went and tried to get some shoes because he finally realized that he should probably get some shoes, and that turned into a whole adventure in itself.
I'm still angry about that as someone that likes to go for the occasional boot shop now and then. The fact that I got sold boots that were not my size, I was so angry.
I love
I
your
was
reaction.
angry at Hank.
It was good role play.
Yeah. I was angry at man. It wasn't.
I am
that was,
pissed.
That was real life, man.
So what's something that everybody learned from that encounter? We'll start with you.
Eli's got a rage thing, which is cool.
Get very specific with the NPCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, everyone is very angry in this zone, and I can't wait to get to another one.
I learned look every gift horse in the mouth, even if it's not a horse or a gift.
Yeah.
Try the boots on before you leave the store.
That's like
who's a
step
PP.
one. That is step one of buying any footwear is try them on, walk around, see how they feel.
It was Eli's fault.
I didn't think about it. And
Yeah, he's just like, sure, I'll take them. He didn't ask you a size or anything. All right, cool.
I thought they'd be magical and just mold to my foot, and then Doc Martens, or I don't know what fantasy Doc Martens would be like.
Fantasy Doc Martens.
Just Martin. No.
They do have something like that. This is the boots of Champlain.
Yeah.
Those are like do damage.
He's not gonna
Sweet.
just hand those over. But how'd you guys like Goldstein? or Bryce. You know, he did a pretty good job playing the voice of Goldstein, because that certainly wasn't me.
Oh man, that voice was amazing.
Sarcasm.
I
Solid
thought he was
character.
pretty funny. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was a
it's
good
pretty-
character.
So the funny thing about that is that the voice actor for that character is actually deployed right now in the Baltics. And I didn't know that. When I sent him the lines, he's like, I hope it's okay. There's a lot of stuff going on. I had no problems taking his sound bites, but he sent each line individually. So I had 65 sound bites that I was like, so it didn't make
It's
it easy.
ridiculous.
But he did a great job. I didn't want to be like, hey man, why'd you send me 65 sound bites instead of just one long one? But
It sounded phenomenal. I
he
really
did pretty
listened,
good.
and it was awesome.
Especially being
hilarious.
deployed, that's great
Yeah,
that he was able
that was-
to get that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
It's fun.
He's got a bunch of voices, and he'll probably play a bunch more down the road, and maybe he'll jump in one shot. He's a D&D player too. He hasn't played in a couple of years, but he definitely wants to get back into it.
So he's like the first character that we saw like regenerate though, because
Right.
Eli shot him, and then we went back into the shop, and he walked out the back door.
He
Or
rounded
walked
the
in the
corner.
back door.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
just-
so I'm like curious. Like we were in the shop, so of course we didn't see. But like I'm wondering what happened to like his old body. Like did it just like sort of pixelize and disappear?
I think it
Does
dissolved
stay
into the
there?
ground.
no, he dissolved.
Or yeah,
it.
yeah.
His body dissolved. So,
Yeah,
it's
but we
just-
weren't there to see it, so
Well, I mean,
this time.
not everybody, but that it's something that the group has learned, that like if you die, your body could either stay there, like Eli's body did when he hit the gate, and then some bodies dissolved into the ground. But when
Mhm.
Eli went back to where his body was at, it was gone. So it could have just been the amount of time. It just depends on
Mhm.
how.
Oh dear God! Please tell me someone didn't take my corpse. Oh my God! Oh,
That might be good news. They might make a replica of you, and then you'll have two Eli's.
Yeah.
oh, that sounds like a terrible idea.
And
He's the mayor, the sheriff, the Uber driver, and the Undertaker for that reason, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not going to come up with another NPC. It's Hank. Hank is, he's his all
Hank
around.
is going to be eternal. He's in all zones.
Yeah.
God.
Honestly, I
Oh.
love it. I love it, and I have such a vision of what I think he looks like in my head, and I can't wait for someone or people.
I'm gonna
to
grab his
draw
helmet
him.
next time I see him, just snatch it.
Yeah, I don't have any artistic value fingers at all, so I'm not going to be able to draw any of this. And so,
Oh no, but just the way that you
You
describe.
can describe him.
Of course.
Hopefully
We haven't seen his
someone
face
does.
yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah. I mean, look at Beth's face, and it's pretty horrific. I mean, this whole town can just be all like previous fry cooks. Who knows?
Fry cooks with their own faces.
Oh, that's so sad. It's our arms that get it, man, not our
Yeah.
faces.
Fair enough. I haven't worked fast food in my life. So, Merle, so your interaction with the scientist guy, how'd that go? How'd you feel about that?
With the scientists, with the I guess bioengineer or whatever the guy who replaced him is.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool. It was kind of, I mean, I think that there was definitely more I could have done with it. I think more I could do with it in the future, like building things. But I didn't think I had any money.
I mean, you guys, like, I wasn't expecting you guys to stay in this town this long. I was expecting you guys to like get your basic stuff and then head out. But you guys seem to love this town.
It's lovely here.
So, yeah, basically, you guys just hung out in the town and purchased stuff and got in a gunfight. So, Eli, how did you feel about that duel? You're hoping to get some exchange for the boots, maybe like either the sheriff to kind of like pick a side. He's like, nope, you guys are just gonna fight it out.
Okay, so here's my mindset on that. I figured if I walked in there and it was the worst fucking Karen I could be, that he would just give me new boots. Or
That's what
maybe
every
something
Karen
else.
thinks.
I know,
That's
but you know
literally
what?
It always
I just wasn't expecting it to end in a goddamn pistols at noon style duel over a pair of boots.
You mean a dragonborn that's typing with his tongue isn't unique enough for you?
goes so well.
Oh, so well. I mean, it depends on if it's corporate or not, right? Home-owned place doesn't give a shit, okay? They're not going to...
Clearly
See-
a small business owner.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
if you had a high enough perception or passive perception, you probably would have noticed the sign above the door.
I may have. I also I was a really big fan of the I think it's the Yawning Portal that's got some D&D stuff with a bunch of really cool inns and storekeepers. So I was expecting you would throw in no. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I was expecting maybe, you know, a little customer service, as the title says, instead of the scenario that played it. But I was so happy with it. Like, honestly, like as a player, and like I've told so many of my own play group about that scenario, and they're like, oh man, and I'm like, yeah. And I don't tell some of them because I'm just gonna steal those ideas and reuse them myself.
Yeah, a shootout was a really cool idea. Actually,
Fair
it
enough.
worked out.
Yeah, because again, I was like, oh, if Eli dies, it's not like he's going to be gone forever. He just
He'll be fine. He'll come
respawn.
back. He's
Yeah,
just gonna be the craziest of
I love the mechanic of it, and I love, again, harkening back to games like the Soulsborne series. I love the fact of the insanity counter. I love the fact that that's gonna play a role in the characters going forward. So I'm not like putting myself at risk to die, but I'm also playing it how I think Eli would kind of play a game, and kind of making that game his life now. You know, life is not a game. Well, shit, for him it is now. So, you know, go big or go home.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you know, again, this town is supposed to be like, you know, like all those country towns. You're driving down the big highway, and then you pull in, and they're all jerks, and you know they don't care about the passerby or people, and you don't know how many times these people have died. Obviously, Goldstein has died so much that it's like, what size of beer
Yeah.
do you want? You know,
Yeah, us townies aren't a fan of you yuppies. So yeah.
Yeah,
You
we
died
get
so
we
much
get
you
that
turned
New
into
Hampshire
a
too.
dragon. Like I don't even know how that happened.
and that's another thing. Like you notice that like there's ogres, and you met your first dragonborn. So your brownie, you know, you kind of get a glimpse of, you know, I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that this is also a D&D game and not just like a modern version. I wanted to make sure that there was
Shoot 'em up.
yeah, I wanted to make sure there's the elements of D&D in there as well. And again, the next area could totally be your medieval, you know, setup.
Yes.
Which is wicked.
Well, we knew from the
Looking
gimps
for it.
that there's dungeons.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't think that's what you're looking for, Jason.
Going the wrong. Hey, this
Maybe
this
that's what
giant-
Brent's looking for, but not Jason.
This giant cave says dungeon entrance. Is this it? Is this where we have to go? There's no queue outside. No, wrong dungeon, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It says bring your own wet wipes.
Yeah.
Oh.
But wet wipes. Consensual dungeon sex.
It was
That's
only
the line.
implied.
Not
Sorry.
saying there's like a 50-gallon drum outside of chalk or anything.
Sometimes us Westerners forget that y'all are in Germany.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty. Hey, well, not all of us are in Germany. Well, most.
No,
Speaking of
overseas. Sorry.
people
Fine.
from overseas, Allison, what do you think about what's happening so far? Just being on that perspective of being an outsider, looking.
Yeah, it's a really refreshing change, I think, from a lot of D&D podcasts are more of a medieval setting all the time, which is great, and I love it, but it's really interesting to see things in a slightly different context.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like I don't really know.
Good. That's
That's
my.
just Kelly DMing in
Yeah,
general.
That's my
None of us
plan.
know what to expect.
Neither do I. I just have a giant bowl of random things I pull out of like, tree. All
It's
right.
like scenes from a hat.
Yeah. They're gonna meet hobo. Fair enough. No,
That's about right.
Well, I mean, I try to put as many interesting encounters that you can. Not every encounter has to be a combat encounter. It could just be just a
Hey
regular
man, I tried to stop that show before it happened. I did a decent charisma save and it didn't work.
You really did.
You even said,
Yeah.
I tried.
That's what I did. I tried. I gave it a shot. That's all.
You know what? Re-listening, even the urgency in your voice after I stormed off, re-listening to it as someone not in it, because I was just seeing like I gotta go, and then re-listening to you going along with me in it, I could like kind of picture it, in my mind. And for me, as someone
no.
that's new to this,
So that's one thing I wanted to add. Is that the disadvantage, you got a disadvantage for trying to do that.
Okay, because he's mad. Like, I totally get it why it didn't work, but yeah.
But what I was aiming at is like, Eli's character is around, like he said he was mocking him behind you or being an antagonist. And so I play that as part of your disadvantage. So when Merle came over and put his hand in his face and pulled him out of it, then obviously the situation changes. So think about that while you're playing as advantages and disadvantages stuff.
No, like I totally get why it happened. I just, that's just, I usually do try and as a bard, like try and solve it without guns first, but it just wasn't going to happen in this situation.
And
so
that goes into our
inspiration.
That goes into our, that goes into our magic. Our bard is going to have to play some type of instrument and explain how they do their bard spell. So that tune you heard is not our music guys that graciously let us use their music for our intro and outro. Lee,
what was that plug? Iron Heed, right?
Iron Heed. Yeah, Iron Heed. Cool guys. They actually wanna hop in and do some stuff. So we're gonna.
Oh, really?
That would be awesome.
That's so cool.
I'm gonna try to coordinate.
You should link them up with me too, because I have my radio show starting in October as well.
Yeah.
So I could definitely get them some airtime up in good old Ontario.
Yeah, they're from Chile. It's pretty cool.
That's wicked.
They sound so cool. I really like their music.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I only have the 3 songs they sent, and one of them is the same song but with a female voice added to it. So I'm going to talk with them more and see if we can't use some other songs as well, because I'm sure they want to mix it up some. And then
maybe they'll write us a song.
Well, yeah, I want to see.
Well,
talk to them.
Let's not get carried away.
I haven't been able to email them because I've been super busy trying to get in my graduate program. But tomorrow I'll message them and hopefully we can get some type of communication back and forth. He was pretty quick about getting back, and they actually follow us because I can check on our Simplecast and I see that there's people downloading it from Chile. So I was like, yeah.
How do you spell their band name?
Head?
IRONHEADE.
Yeah,
yep. Iron Heed.
Yeah, so that little soundbite that we had for my spell was one that I crafted together with no experience.
Right.
So it's not great. It's very repetitive, but
but again,
so the idea is that like Alora doesn't actually know how to play guitar because she joined a video game expecting to just have those skills. And so she knows how to like play certain notes and everything. Like she's had a guitar. It was with her stuff, but she doesn't like know how to play songs. And so she's like got to improvise as she goes. And that's why the joke in one of the episodes, she can only play triangle proficiently.
Yeah.
But
play Smoke on the Water. Just
yeah, she can do like simple stuff. And so I figure as I get better at editing music, or perhaps as we are able to get sound bites from Iron Heed or other musicians, then we'll have better sounds to go with the spells.
Well, I took yours and I was going to overlay it with some other stuff. And I was like, oh no, she's just playing by herself. Because
just the first one.
I was like, well, there's 2 guitarists in this riff, so I can't do that because then she'd be a level 20 bard that's like strumming 2, like playing 2 big, notes. She's got the triple neck and she's just like, hands everywhere.
Be rad. I'm not there yet though.
But as you progressively get better, we'll add like you'll have your triangle attached to your guitar. So we'll throw a team and the guitar in there at the same time. Or
One man bandit.
yeah, we'll eventually you're gonna have like a drum on your back and then like
oh god, no!
You're like one of the
Don't
little,
want that.
little monkey things.
Oh,
Look at
I
her
just had an
casting
awesome
spells.
I do want to get one of those big lutes, though. I think I'll probably trade up at some point
Yeah.
because an electric guitar doesn't sound very good unless it's plugged in. So
Yeah.
I just had a great idea.
Hmm?
You
Go
can
ahead.
cut this if you want. But when I just said one man bandit, I feel like there should probably be some kind of bard fight between Alora and a bandit who is literally a one man band.
Oh
A
no,
one-
don't worry. The first actual D&D there's
Very
depending on
excited for.
depending on how because when I play bards and I go inside of like an inn, I'll like set my cup up.
You
and
get
I'll start-
money.
I start
Yeah.
playing music and I'm like, I don't have any money for the food or anything. And next thing you know, I'm getting more money than the rest of the group. And I'm like, I'm just in the back playing songs and casting spells on everybody so I can get their money so I can at least stay
Get
the night.
prestidigitation.
Yeah, and get some food. So yeah, I'm waiting for you to step up and do something like that. And then,
I just
obviously
haven't really had the chance. That's usually what I do,
Yeah.
but
I'll
so I have a lot of points in my performance, but
yeah.
She doesn't really need the money either.
Bards,
You don't know that.
Bards don't always have to play their instrument. You could be like a spoken word or a slam
That's
poet
But
bard.
that's
or,
no fun. I like to put them both together, so she has to say the word and play the song. And now if she
Yeah.
if she sings,
well, that's
the song,
why
probably give more.
that's why we have the me telling you don't miss in this episode. That was the spoken word, and then
Yeah.
we have the music in the background. And there'll be I've thought of a couple other things that'll work for that.
Yeah, we'll fit some stuff in there. We'll definitely take the bard to the next level. And like druids, I got some stuff set up for the.
You got to make potions in real life.
Yeah.
Real quick on Druid. Eli, I don't think I ever mentioned having a spellcasting focus yet.
No, you're gonna have
So
to.
it's kind of where I'm going with why my magic's so shitty. That's what I'm blaming it on is I don't have a spellcasting
Yeah.
focus yet.
Yeah, so
I
definitely.
think Merle could lend you a hand.
Yeah.
Do druids usually get like a staff?
My weapon I have is more of like a small club, like a kid-sized baseball bat, essentially.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then you know what? We're on episode 5, and Jason the Barbarian has taken 0 damage this entire time, all the way up to now.
What the fuck? How
We're
is it?
doing-
Yeah, hell of a
It's just-
tank. He's just dodging everything. Thanks, bud.
I mean, he's getting in front of it, but I'm keeping an ongoing count on how many episodes and encounters he takes 0 damage. So one episode he's just gonna take. He's
gonna get scratched and be like, I can bleed.
The
This is
meteor
what
falls
pain
down.
feels
He's
like.
just, a car just falls on him. Ha! Look at that. Gotcha.
And then I step out from behind it.
Son of a bitch.
Kelly's just
Rises up from underneath it.
It's like Superman over there.
There was this hole in the ground. I just slipped into it before the car landed on me. Look at that.
Kelly's furiously taking notes. Car fall on Jason.
Oh, that's the other thing, right? So you made the joke, Merle could give him a hand. Totally forgot about the hand. I'm going to do something with that hand.
Yep. Well,
We'll figure it out.
and in your robotic hand right now, it's only giving you the finger. So hopefully you figure out something about that. I know you mentioned something about Beth's deep fryer, so maybe you'll do that next episode or later on. Hopefully,
Something. I'll do something.
We'll see. Probably not. Probably.
It hasn't been super important because I
Yep. Nope. Hands not important.
Well, it's the offhand, right? I've only been using a one-handed weapon.
Yeah.
And so but I haven't gotten to the point where I'm 2-weapon fighting or something like that. So the offhand weapon hasn't really been important. So essentially I'm walking around just shooting people and flipping them off at the same time.
Look at I get it.
Die, fuck you, die.
I distract him with my middle finger. I should get advantage.
You are the Deadpool of crumpets and kerosene.
Hey, if you
Oh,
pitch
God.
it,
So it's the 2 swords and the 2 guns.
if you guys can tell me why you deserve advantage on something and you can play it off good enough, I'll give you advantage. You know.
I accept this challenge.
Yep. I mean, Eli, you all over the place.
You should probably work on getting advantage a lot, honestly.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of good that you've gone like so many horrible things, but you haven't got any exhaustion, which is amazing. So it's only because I keep forgetting about that damn fucking exhaustion.
That's that table. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I
Yeah.
feel like I'm always in exhaustion. So I'm like, I hate this. It just nerfs my character. So I try not to do that too much. But, you know, if you do too many weird things, you might get an exhaustion. So is there anything else anybody wants to say about episode 5? Besides, don't purchase anything from Exodus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get the hell out of
not
Exodus. That's the lesson I learned from this episode.
Yeah.
I just
Good
got
thing
here.
we leave right after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Return end game and just destroy the town.
Yeah. So that'll conclude our episode of Reload It. Hope you enjoyed our little ranting and roaring. And join us next week for our next episode, episode 6. And have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on Crumpets and Kerosene Reloaded. Keep on listening to find out what happens to our gamers in the next episode of Crumpets and Kerosene. Also, don't forget to subscribe, download, and write us a review. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Stitcher, Deezer, Castbox, Chrome Mobile, and Pocket Cast. Follow us on our social medias. For Twitter, we have @crumpet_time. Instagram is @crumpets and kerosene. Facebook is just Crumpets and Kerosene. And our YouTube, Crumpets and Kerosene. Email us at crumpetsandkerosene@gmail.com. For our cast, you can find our DM, Kelly Williams, on his Twitter at KW_steel_rain, or on his Instagram at infantry_kitchen, or on Facebook at Williams Kelly. Jason is played by Brent Marquis and is on Twitter at Brent Lee Marquis. Merle is played by Seth Nason and is on Twitter at Nason_the. Eli is played by Donnie Juronic and is on Twitter at The Raven Wrote. Amanda Lee Baldwin is on Twitter at Lemonseed05.
Hey, thanks, Lee. We'd also like to give a special thanks to Allison Webb for joining us for another episode of Reloaded. If anybody else out there is interested in jumping on to a talk about for one of our episodes, go ahead and message us on any of our social medias, and we will get back to you and possibly set you up to join us on one of our Reloaded episodes. We'd also like to give a special thanks to the intro and outro music from Iron Heed, Enter the Dungeon, the song Heroes. Thanks, guys.